Hi, my name's Dee and welcome to Untitled Tarot. Now, I know I said I wouldn't be doing any more readings this month, but I have a few spare hours, so hopefully I'll be able to do all 12 for the Lunar Galactic download for this month. The moon will be passing across 16, 17 degrees Sagittarius on the 22nd, which also happens to be the fall equinox. So when I saw that, I thought, oh no, I can't miss that one. Now, the equinox, as you probably know, fall equinox, autumnal equinox, equal hours of light and dark, seeking a point of balance. Interesting, since it is also the point of going into Libra, the scales. Well, that's probably where the symbolism came from in the first place. Now, listening to the various astrologies, Chris Witecki on his Namaste Today, shared on my Facebook page, link down below, of course, talks about the sun ingress into Libra, about coming into a new relationship with ourselves, whereas Astrology with Heather also said seeking to come into balance. Not necessarily finding that balance. I mean, hey, have you seen the world? But seeking to come into that balance, making the effort to move towards it. Now, this is also the Feast of Mabon, which, although people talk about the Wheel of the Year being an old thing, which it is, Mabon's recognition only seems to derive from the 1970s onwards. But anyway, he was a child of the light and son of Mother Earth, I think, if I remember correctly. I did print some notes out, but they're over there. Now, this is a time for reaping, for the second harvest, the fruit harvest, and a time for review for everything that you started putting into action in the spring equinox and in the early side of the year. Well, it's also a good point about the fall equinox is Jupiter has just changed to go direct, so it's signifying a good change in in consciousness and confidence, maybe, but a good change in consciousness. All in all, pretty good omens, pretty good symbols. Now, considering that with the Mars-Saturn square, Mars-Pluto square, Mars-Jupiter square, Mercury, T-square, Mars and Saturn, that doesn't figure, does it? But it's Mercury's coming into T-square of something or other, and I'm sure Mars and Saturn are involved there, but maybe Saturn must be T-squaring. But anyway, moving on. Watch the Astrology with Heather video for more details on that. Again, link down below on my Facebook page, link down below. But I want to look at the symbol for 0 degrees Libra. Now, the Chandra symbol is, and not at all stereotypical, a group of fat Italian ladies preparing bread. Now, it says this is an archetypal, universal and diffuse allegiances, activities and realms of experience, becoming camouflaged perfectly by adopting a persona that is wondrously engaging and easy connected with. So that does indicate an energy to put people at ease and to start rebuilding relationships if they've been destroyed. However, the interpretation goes on, putting it on a bit heavy, thick grease paint. You exult in getting away with seeming to be the world's most anonymous person. The disguise can stick to the face. Overt consciousness awash in mass identification. At times you are able to penetrate through and find open possibilities, but you are primarily engrossed in the outer and alive to the advertised sensations of what it is like to be popular, well received and simply welcome wherever you go as part of the mix, and no problem at all. So, bit double-edged. Well, to me, I think that's a little bit double-edged about that whole subsuming yourself in mass identification. But if you're trying to smooth over any divisions, then that's quite useful. Now, the Omega symbol, which I really like a lot more, is an apothecary shop in which herbal concoctions and other medicines appear as needed. So this is talking about desire and need combined with pure intent, creating their own fulfillment spontaneously. And the oracle of this degree, which explores it more, where is it? So, and I love this little story, an alchemist invented an apothecary shop which mirrored completely the realm of disease. Anyone who entered it immediately reflected their essence onto the mind of the shop, which then generated the herbs and compounds as an echoing of felt needs. The shop held all of the answers and solutions that one could ever desire. Now, what was curious was how few people came to the shop. And of those few who came and took home the medicines, how many of the medicines were placed on a shelf somewhere and forgotten about? So the shop, always desirous of improving the potency and efficacy of its products, began focusing on other medications such as songs, weather and memory clusters, which is harvested out of people and distilled into custom-made homeopathic essences. Illusions, properly selected and harvested, were also found to be highly salutary. Well, salutary I would have thought meant to say hello, but I assume that means some form of healing. That sounds perfect and a little bit double-edged. Hopefully it is reflecting your actual need and not what you think your needs are, because let's face it, we're all on this, if you're on that self-exploratory trip, we're all well aware of the difference between the two. So, to the cards, this is going to be a general reading for your star sign. This is a bulk introduction, as ever. There will be a timestamp down below, so once you've seen the introduction once, you don't have to watch it again. And I advise that you look at your sun, your moon, and your rising signs. Particularly, I would say, on this one, your moon, since we are talking about seeking balance, and the first place to seek balance is within your feelings, because if you don't get the balance there, you're not going to get the balance anywhere else. So as a general reading rules apply. You know the script here, you know, roles can be reversed if someone else appears. It's an oracle card driven reading, so you can ask a question beforehand. I'm not going to guarantee that it's going to give you an answer in any form that can relate to the question, but we're looking at the energies coming in. This is the model, and some astrologer friends of mine have contested this, but basically this is tarot, not astrology. But looking at what energies coming from galactic center are filtered by the moon and how they can affect us this season, especially with it being fall equinox. Especially with Jupiter just going direct. There is quite a challenging month ahead for us astrologically, but it looks like the fall equinox energies can really give us a springboard to hurtle through it and take advantage of the challenges that come to us, rather than just going, no, 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 no more, no more. Although, if you find yourself huddling in a corner rocking and saying, no more 2020 please, I don't blame you. Won't get a lot done, but I don't blame you. But try not to do that, because hey ho, we have got to make it to the end of the year somehow, you know. Even if my favourite election bumper sticker so far is Giant Asteroid 2020. So, yeah, comment down below. Like, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff. Join the Facebook page, because if you're a Facebook person, you know, social dilemma notwithstanding, because I don't just post my videos, I post videos from the astrologers, the various, you know, astrology weather reports, Achita Bava, Astrology with Heather, Ksenia Moore, astrology podcast. Now there's always a good investment. It's normally about 2.5 hours long. Rick Levine, Astrology Hub. Can't think of any more right now, but I know that there's oodles more that I watch, but I want to get on with the cards. So let's bring them up. And welcome Taurus Rising and Taurus Moon, if you've just joined us after the timestamp. Now there's an interesting set of messages coming for you. We have Shatael and Azrael from the Angelarium, which is basically telling me that change is coming for you, Taurus. Change is coming. Whether you like it or not, change is coming. But what's important is that the way you grab hold of this change is coming from your creativity, as we see in the Seven Star Sisters card here, which is all about bringing things into being, birthing new creations through your creativity. It says it's the card of artists and midwives. What is wanting to be born through you? Now, we have here Elamia with divine power, and Samajina with delay opposing them. So it's almost like this is going to be a slow process. The first thing for you to do here is, just like Aries, relax for a little while. Deep replenishment, retreat, rest, be held is what it says here. So there is movement during this, and it's almost like I'm feeling that let yourself coast along on the inspirations that come to you until you get to that point of, there's my creativity. There's the bit that I'm wanting to bring into being, what I'm wanting to change, what I'm wanting to create. It's not even change, it's creating something new. And that's the point where the movement will be leading you to the place where, as we have from the Making Magic cards, your time to shine creates the energetic resonance for golden opportunities. It's almost as if you are, now I don't want to say the word victim, but you are witness, that's a better word, you are witness to numerous changes that will affect you. During this period, you are advancing towards something, quite possibly something where you failed before. We start with do not let your past hold you back. Excuse me. Do not let your past hold you back. And through all of these changes, just like Aries, you have Green Tara, Supreme Protection. So the changes, as scary as they may seem, are not in the long run going to be too bad. Now, I do know that in Aries astrology, they were told that if they have any crises in the next 30 days, as dramatic as they may seem, then they're going to end up in a better place at the end of them. Now, I don't see quite as a intense process as that going on here, but I do see a similar process going on here. We have the Angel of Mercy out of the Angel Oracle? Archangel Oracle? I've forgotten what it's called. I've had it years. Divine Mercy gives me the grace to be tender and accepting. So it's almost like this change that's coming, which is coming through some form of conflict. We have the conflict card here from the Quantum Oracle, but this change is good. So whatever this conflict is, stand your ground, fight your point, fight for what you believe is right, but accept the changes that occur during this conflict, because really they appear to be in your interest. And these aren't necessarily changes that you're going to know beforehand, that you're going to plan, even though they need to come out of your creativity. It's not ones that you're going to be able to plan in advance, because you won't know what the changes are until they happen. So the thing that you need to maintain here is keeping a sense of balance, because the changes that occur are basically for the better. Just discard on the movement here, and you really get a chance to express your creative power. It's not just you get to be you, fighting that what's right and what's just and what's wonderful. It's that you get to really be you in style, and you go, Ta-da! Here is the new me. Here's my new project. Here is my creation. I am the man behind the curtain, but I am also the giant hologram of a face. They are both me. And there is an element of requiring to be forgiving, but Shatiel, the Angel of Silence, is about an overwhelming silence. Yes, Ten of Pentacles on the bottom of the deck, so that bodes well. Shatiel is an overwhelming silence, one that you cannot deny, one that just comes up. It defines everything that it touches, and is something where you have, that's interesting, you get to see the value of what is useful and what isn't. And I think it actually puts you, if you are using your creative energy, into a space where you are able to assist others. And by it's either your creativity will lead you to assisting others, or by assisting others, you suddenly get the that's what I need to do at the moment. This is where I need to move forward, because you are being guided. Without a shadow of a doubt, you are being guided. And yes, it will involve taking on some form of burden, but there will be a rebirth in that. There will be a chance for, a chance for you to heal. Yeah, there's going to be loss here, because with any change there is a loss. With any change there is a death. Azrael, Angel of Death. But the other message with that Azrael card is don't go seeking it. Wait for the change to come to you. So this implies that it's going to be like sailing a ship on stormy waters. But you ain't going to capsize. It is going to be an eventful few weeks or few months that's coming from this. But in the meantime, there is succor to be had through family and friends, Six of Cups, through the good parts of the past. But don't let your past hold you back with the Four of Wands. So quite possibly there's something that you made a commitment to do in the past and you failed in doing it. And it's not that your commitment was tested, that was what failed. It was that the opportunity to actually fulfill your word is what failed. And I don't think that that's necessarily going to have been your fault. It might have been, but not necessarily. There's that element of outside forces that I'm feeling there. And it's almost like you get the chance to put it right. You're like, I made a promise that I would do this, let's say 7 years ago, just for sake of argument. I made a promise that 7 years ago that I would do this. And then I tried to do it and it didn't pan out. It didn't fail. That promise is still there. You haven't failed in the promise yet. You've simply failed to deliver it so far, which does not necessarily mean that you will fail to deliver it. If anything, this is opening up a time where you can go, you know what I wanted to do all those 7 years ago? Got a chance to do it now. And I can see how it will perfectly work. And this is something where the effect is helping other people. Despite the fact there does appear to, one thing with the conflict, well, a number of things with conflict. This conflict is not necessarily new. It is one that has come time and time and time again. It's another thing, it's another element of people getting things wrong, people misunderstanding quite what is going on and having failed to balance two sides of their life previously. Now, that might be, you know, their artist and their scientist, or their work life and their home life, or their urge for spirituality but necessary drive to get money, because that's how this world works. Two conflicting urges. And somewhere along the line, there's been a misapprehension of how to balance. And I think you are going to be able to discern how to balance these two factors for yourself and thereby teaching somebody else. But the truth is, change is coming. Full stop. So you might as well be as balanced as you can and as ready to take advantage, because there are opportunities in this change for you, but there are things that are going to get lost. Don't spend too much time dwelling, because you're going to end up in the... that's what the delay bit means. You're going to end up in the same place either. Now, if you dwell on what you're losing, you just get there slower. You'll be dragging your feet. You will be at the point of, do I really have to do this now? If you've been mourning what has lost. Whereas if you take the message of the Five of Cups and focus on what remains, what else you have to play with or focus on, work with, that's where the joy is. That's where the expansion is. But also with this Justice card and the Angel of Mercy here, yes, you are to be accepting of the changes that come and accepting of other people's actions. So with this conflict card of people working under misapprehensions, that immediately reminds me of forgive them, Father, they know not what they do. And why would they know what they do if they're under all this illusion and misconceptions and misapprehensions and what have you? But you can take on the burden nonetheless to do whatever it is that you're going to do. I'm not actually going to turn around and say that you are challenging their misconceptions. That will come. That's not anything to do with this. Well, it is what starts the conflict and what affects you, but you don't have to challenge their misconceptions. You can bring certain things to an end by moving forward on your creative project, whatever that is, that takes advantage of this change. Now, you may not know what the change is, but I would not be surprised if you know what the creative project will be, and the door will open up for you to go, that thing that I've wanted to do 7 years ago, you know what? I can do it now. I have the space to move forward. The obstacle that was there is no longer there. So that's a lovely reading, Taurus, especially with, as I say, 10 of Pentacles on the bottom of the deck. So your foundation is sound. You have good support around you of those that matter. So, you know, you automatically assume family and friends. But I want to, thinking of some of the struggles some Taurus people I know are going through at the moment, it's the support of those who matter, which may well be family and friends, but may well be somebody who's a little bit surprising to you. Right, so if this means anything to you, Taurus, comment down below, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. I imagine your next readings out will be the monthlies, I hope, which probably won't be in time for the first of the month, but first few days of the month. All right, good luck, Taurus. Cheers.